Welcome to the Jeff Knows Inc. Entrepreneurial Podcast with your host, Jeff Lopes. Jeff has over 2 decades experience as a serial entrepreneur, building brands like Kimura from his home basement to a multi-million-dollar global brand that has sold over 250,000 pairs of boxing gloves. Jeff's here to educate, guide, and drive you on the process of bringing your ideas and dreams to reality with the inspiring stories from some of the top business minds.
Welcome to episode 162 of the Jeff Knows Inc. podcast and our season 7 finale, the one and only Jake the Snake Roberts. Sit back, everyone, and enjoy. This podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp. With the current climate in this world, it's now more important than ever to take stock in your mental health and for once, take time to work on yourself. BetterHelp offers a personalized online counseling and therapy service that will connect you to a safe and private online environment. BetterHelp is here to assess you with your needs and match you with your own licensed therapist. It's a lot more affordable than your traditional counseling, and financial aid is always available. Right now, Jeff Knows Inc. listeners get an extra 10% off your first month just by visiting betterhelp.com/Jeff Knows. That's right. Visit betterhelp.com/Jeff Knows to get 10% off your first month. We're live on the Jeff Knows Inc. podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Lopes. Super excited to have on today Jake the Snake Roberts. What is up, brother?
Just getting through it, man. Day to day. Christmas is around the corner, and it's a special time. I got a lot of grandkids, and
how many grandkids do you have?
10 so far.
Wow. The family's growing.
I expect somewhere around 2023, by the time it's over.
That's a lot. That's a lot of Christmas shopping.
Well, I have 8 kids, so
yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's a great time. I mean, I had some foot surgery done that was really more extensive than I thought going in. I didn't know it was going to be like that, and it's finally healed, 3 months. And it was a lot of fun. They wound up putting a woman's placenta in the wound to help it heal. Stem cell is a good thing. And I just didn't like the nickname I picked up, Pussyfoot. I actually came up with that. Yeah, of course. And, just a special time of year, man. It really is. Christmas is great.
Yeah, Christmas is always one of those special times of the year, even as a kid. I mean, I got 2 small ones, a 13 and 15-year-old. So, I mean, they're still at the age where you can see they really enjoy it. I mean, it's being around, like you said, around your grandkids. Once you're around kids, that's the whole idea of Christmas, right? I mean,
the whole deal is they're not paying the bills.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the thing
is, paying the bills, they weren't damn happy about this shit.
When you get to a certain age, it becomes very materialistic, or it becomes very just what you buy. It's not even an enjoyment. But once you're around kids, you still have the fun, the enjoyment of it, right?
Yeah, I think the reason we have kids is because we want to stay young and we want to keep living like young people, and we can reflect and look at them doing the same thing that we did 30 years ago, and we feel young again too. So yeah, it's all good.
Let's start off. Let's jump back. Let's start off. What was your first interaction with wrestling? What age?
With wrestling?
Yeah, with wrestling. When was the first time you actually walked into a wrestling school or had some interaction with it? I know you started. Did you start off as a manager originally?
No.
Okay.
No, I as far as wrestling, it's been in my family my whole life. My father wrestled, and he was much bigger than me. He was 7 foot, 425 pounds.
Well, he was a big man.
Yeah, buddy. But, so I got introduced to it probably when I was like 6 or 7 when he started. And it was horrifying as a kid. He never smartened us up to the real and unreal aspects of the business. He would play out his part at home, too, on us kids, which scared the hell out of us. We thought our daddy was going to get killed and all that shit. And shame on him. I mean, he was wrong to do that. Really was. And the first step into it. But he never raised me. He was an absentee father. He had something better to do, whatever. He remarried, divorced my mother, remarried. Pretty ugly picture. He was a pedophile.
Oh, gosh.
And,
okay.
A lot of ugly shit there. I don't really feel like talking about.
No,
just talked
that's
about
fine.
some other places.
Yeah, of course.
Today, so. But I hated wrestling because I thought wrestling is what kept my father away from me. And that's not the truth. The truth was he was a dick and he didn't want kids. He wanted to chase girls, young ones. And that's what his life was about. And so I went through high school. I excelled in school, really good at grades. Never took a book home in my life. If I heard it, I remembered it, and I was one of those people gifted beyond everything and just really gifted. And, did some sports and stuff and graduated. I was the first person in my family to ever graduate high school, Hell, I thought it was a pretty special deal. I thought maybe he might even show up, but he didn't. And that kind of hurt a lot. Him not coming to my ball games hurt a lot. So when I came out of high school, I wanted to go to college to become an architect. That's what I wanted to do. So leaving, I went and visited him to remind him that I'd graduated and that I was going to go to college now. And his reply was, well, I hope you don't want anything from me. Why would I? You've not given me anything yet. He never supported us. My stepfather supported us. My dad never did shit for us. And when I went to see him and he came back with that attitude, he just couldn't say, I'm proud of you. That's all I wanted. And he just couldn't say it. And so a few nights later, I was watching the wrestling matches. He was performing that night, and I'd had several beers. And my young mind decided, gee, if you want your dad to love you, what you need to do is get in the ring and beat up one of those wrestlers, That damn beer gets killed, man. I went up and challenged a guy, and the guy knew who I was, thank God, because he could have really hurt me bad. But instead, he just kept me in the ring for about 15 minutes. He stretched me, really horrible task.
How old were you, roughly?
I was 18.
18, okay.
18, and maybe urinate on myself, and I didn't think that was possible, but it is. Had me squealing like a little girl. He hurt me, but he didn't break anything. So I basically crawled out of the ring. I was hurting so bad and crying, and I was a mess. And my father met me at the door and looked at me and he said, I'm ashamed of you. You're gutless and you'll never amount to anything. Thanks. That's what I needed. So I remember that night like yesterday. It still hurts. And that night's the night I made a deal with the devil. I decided to toss my dreams out the window of becoming an architect. I was going to become a wrestler and be a better wrestler than my father, or die trying. And the deal I made with the devil was I'll do anything I need to. Cheat, lie, steal, whatever. But I'm going to surpass it one way or the other. And that was the commitment I made. And that was the only commitment I honored. And I started out by refereeing, which was a wise move. I never went to a wrestling school. I did the trial and error method. Not smart. Because everybody that touched me wanted to make an example of me, or they wanted to get even with my father.
I was going to say that, yeah.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that. I'd be in a match and get whacked, man. What the hell was that about? Tell your old man, he'll know. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why don't you go give it to him? You know? And yeah, I had a lot of that. But I didn't give up. You know, I kept in there. I was probably the worst ever in the ring starting out because I didn't know how to lock up. I knew nothing. And to make it even worse, I had what I call a vapor lock. When the bell would ring, I would freeze. And you could not bend my arms. You couldn't bend my back, my head, nothing. I'd just freeze. And you'd go completely stiff. You know?
Was that more anxiety?
Yeah. It was all anxiety.
Yeah.
And I would hold my breath so I almost passed out, you know. And meanwhile, the other guy's trying to have a match with me, you know.
Yeah.
So I got punished in there too. So that went on like that for about a year and a half. And that's not easy to do because I was lasting on the average of 6 weeks to 2 months in each area I went before they fired me. Because I was the shits. I was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Shouldn't even been in the ring, you know. But because I was big, they didn't mind beating me up.
Yeah.
But after exhausting all the places to go down south, I was in Kansas City, and a friend of mine that finally got me out of that shell, that vapor lock thing, was Buck Robley. And he was the booker, so to speak, ran things for Kansas City, and my boss and my friend. And he had kept me off television because he knew that if I went on television, that my time would be even shorter, you know, in that area. So he kept me off TV, and hell, I'd been there 6 months. He was trying to help. But I think he finally figured out what the problem was. And he called me one morning. It was a TV day, so I knew I wasn't going to do anything. And he called me and told me to come up to his apartment, which was just above me. I went up and he says, roll us a joint. What? Roll us a joint. Okay. Roll us a joint. Light it. Okay. Smoke it. Okay. You know, roll us another one. And another one. This was pretty good weed. And I got to where I couldn't even talk. I was like, and really messed up. And that's when he said, go get your gear. You're wrestling today on television. No way, man. No way I can do that, dude. Had the best match of my life because I finally relaxed.
Relaxed.
You know?
Crazy. It's crazy, huh?
Released it.
Yeah, yeah.
And from that point, I started shooting straight up. I mean, it was crazy. Could not believe why I've been stuck in that vapor lock bullshit for so long when all I had to do was just go out and have fun.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It really pissed me off.
Yeah, but sometimes you just in life you just need those trigger points, right? Those just
man.
Snap
So
it.
Buck told me, he says, I think the problem is you can't go out and perform as something else because everybody in the locker room knows you, and you don't want to be a phony type thing. Yeah. You want it to be you. So you got conflicting stuff there. So what you need to do is go someplace where nobody knows you and start there. So, okay, whatever you say, Buck. And about 3 days later, he called me and says, you're going to Vancouver, British Columbia. goddamn, Buck, we don't have to go that far. I mean, I don't know anybody in Montana either, or Denver even, or New Mexico, or LA. Huh? How about Miami? But no, it was Vancouver, British Columbia. Worked for a guy up there called Al Tomko and Gene Kaniski, a world champion at one time. And,
big name.
Yeah, I wrestled Gene twice. Horrifying.
He was a big man. He was a big man too.
Yeah, but at the time he was closing. He was in his 60s.
Yeah,
and he was in tremendous shape.
Yeah,
he ran like 5 miles a day
at that age, huh? Crazy.
Yeah, and he could run circles around me and blow me up. But he didn't even have to do that. He just tied me in knots and then untied me without me even knowing it, and he'd have me in a hole, and all of a sudden he'd move around a little bit. And he goes, "Hey, kid, quit selling. You've got me now. You just reversed that." Holy shit, I did, didn't I? I didn't do shit. He just moved me. But, then I wrestled a guy named Moose Morawski, an old timer that was my first sellout. We sold out the P&E Gardens there in Vancouver, man, 2 weeks in a row. And that was pretty amazing, man. Jesus.
What was your performance name or your stage name at that point? Did you just go under your normal name, or you had a name?
I was going under Jake Roberts.
Okay, just Jake Roberts. Okay.
Before it had been Jake Smith. And then when I was refereeing, it was Fred Platt. That was the guy I grew up with. My dad just said, tell me one of your buddies' names at school. I'm like, Fred Platt's one. Alan Murphy goes, "No, we're going with Fred Platt." And that's the announcement is Fred Platt. Fuck, But I did Vancouver. After Vancouver, I had booked a trip to Japan and went over there for 8 weeks. That was a reality check.
Their level was higher. Their level was pretty,
my God.
Yeah. They were
killers.
Yeah. Their level is, their training is at a different level at that point.
Yeah. We should be ashamed of ourselves, compared to them. But I went over there and worked for 8 weeks. And then on the way back, I stopped in Hawaii for 2 weeks and enjoyed some sun. And I was headed to Calgary. I'd never been to Calgary. I'd never heard of Calgary.
What time of year was this? Because Calgary gets pretty damn cold.
It was cold.
Yeah.
It was.
I'm from Toronto, and Calgary is a different level of cold.
It's December.
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold, and lots of snow already there too.
Oh yeah. So when I got on the plane to come to Calgary, people were just looking at me and shaking their heads because I had on a pair of cutoff shorts and a tank top. That's it. I didn't have a jacket with me. When we landed in Calgary and they opened the door of the plane, man, I nearly shit myself. I could not believe how cold that was.
Yeah.
And so I got through the airport and I got a taxi. We went straight to the Bay, I think it was called, and went shopping and bought all sorts of warm shit.
The Hudson Bay, yeah.
Yeah, then I went to this.
Your memory is on key, man. I love it. They remember all these little things, these names. That's awesome.
I was in Calgary now, and it's 20 below outside, and all that crap, and met Stu for the first time.
Yeah.
Wow. Stu Hart. Whew. And the Hart children, of course, and I was staying where all the wrestlers that came to town stayed.
Before you continue this, what does Stu Hart mean to you? That you took a deep sigh there.
I love him for the opportunity that he gave me.
Yeah.
But, he really abused those kids, man.
He did.
Oh, God, did he?
I've read stories that he was very tough.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
There's abuse. and would strangle somebody till they pass out. I call that abuse. You know?
Yeah.
When you hip toss your children down the stairs, I call that abuse.
Yeah.
You know, but he loved them, no doubt about that, and they loved the shit out of him. He was just a tough guy, and these kids deserved something because they were rotten to the core, man. Oh my God. You know, they would steal his cars and sell them and do shit like that. Yeah, new Cadillacs and sell them. And Stu would go, hey, has anybody seen that caddy, the green one? I haven't seen it in a week. What the hell happened to it? Smith Hart, the oldest boy, he'd take them and sell them. Whatever. But working there was an opportunity to work main events, and because it's a whole different animal working main event than it is working first match.
Yeah.
Mindset's completely different. You got to take care of more. You actually work less.
But the preparation is probably a lot more too, no?
Yeah, you got to be more in tune with what your storyline is and all that.
Yeah.
You're on first match. There's no storyline. Go out there and perform.
Yeah.
And you have to work your ass off,
Yeah.
you know. But, yeah, working in Calgary was an eye-opener. It was a great opportunity for me to move up the ladder. Quite the experience going through blizzards. Going through my first Chinook. Are you familiar with a Chinook?
Yeah, of course, from Canada, yeah.
Okay, here's what happens, folks. I went to bed, and it was 30 below zero. 4 feet of snow.
Yeah.
All right? When I wake up, I'm sweating my ass off, almost out of breath because it's so hot in my room. And I go over to the radiator. They had the old radiators.
Yeah.
And it was hot as shit. I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And I look outside, and there's no snow.
Yeah.
The snow's all gone. What the fuck? And I touch the glass, and the glass is hot. What the hell? How many months have I been asleep? I thought I was Rip Van Winkle, man. I thought I passed out and didn't wake up for several months. But that didn't make sense because wouldn't they kick me out of this room? I was really confused, man. And then that happens every now and then. The westerly winds off the ocean shoot through the canyons and come right into Calgary and warm it up. But then that night it dropped back down to 10 hill.
Yeah.
We did some of that, and we had quite a few really crazy experiences up there, you know. And, you know, going to Stu's house to work out because he had a weight room / wrestling match, death chamber down in the basement. And if he heard the weights being jingled, that was his cue to come down and teach.
Yeah.
He's going to give you a lesson that you do not need. Unless you want to become a mass murderer, then you should learn this. But no, he was wonderful, man. And certainly the most incredible wrestling mind ever.
Yeah.
He knew more about how to break bones than anybody else ever has.
He was a tough man, huh?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
The things that he could do to a human body. I mean, my God. Dude.
But if you think of the lineage, like the amount of wrestlers that came out of there was incredible.
Oh yeah.
Incredible.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of it was because if your career was going well, you would not be there.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this was for a great pace to learn, because you'd get the opportunity. The reason you got the opportunity to learn or to get in the ring is because if you were pretty good at your art, you wouldn't be there. You'd be someplace making real money because we weren't making much money. I think I was doing like 400 or 500 a week for 7 days, you know, and
And putting your body through so much
Yeah,
stress.
yeah. And the weather and everything else that went with it. And oh my God. But I was up there learning with another young guy named Junkyard Dog.
Yeah, I read that.
Sylvester Ritter. In fact, I believe that we had the first ever ladder match.
As I'm looking in the background, I see a ladder on the wall there. But
yeah. Oh, up there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's with DDP.
We'll talk about that after. So what's obviously, how was your relationship with Junkyard Dog? Because everybody says Great. he was such an amazing human. No? Yes? You're looking around?
I knew him real well. JYD, like myself, had a addiction problem. And, he didn't get away from his. I was able to get away from mine.
Are you ready to unlock your full potential? I want to introduce you to the Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast, a powerful resource to transform your life today. With expert interviews, practical tips, and inspiring stories, this podcast is your roadmap to lasting wellness. Here's what a listener has to say.
I used to struggle with my health, but this podcast changed everything. It's like having a personal trainer, nutritionist, and life coach totally for free.
With over 2,000 five-star reviews, we're a podcast you can trust. The Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you guys make it? You guys, once you came from the Stampede, did you guys continue up the route together, or the ones head off first?
Well, I went to Mid-South and told them about him.
Yeah. And
I got him his job in Mid-South. And once he got to Mid-South, brother, the roof blew up for him. He went from being Sylvester Ritter to Junkyard Dog. And once that happened, it was, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And he was off and running. He ran real hard, man. And, he went from there to New York. And after that, it was over, But then, of course, him dying in a car wreck. Yeah.
How? Let's talk about your nickname. I mean, I know your stage name, the Snake, and where was your first introduction to the Snake? Because I remember reading a little article that, correct me if I'm wrong, you were terrified of snakes to start.
Yeah, I am.
You still are?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
Can't stand them. Won't have them around me at all. Yeah. The only time I wasn't afraid of that snake was when the bell would ring. And at that point, that guy that walks through that curtain can't be hurt. I have no pain. I feel no pain. Nothing stops me. Never give up. I'm going to go out and perform. Fuck the snake. I don't give a shit. And right on. Even when it bit me out there.
Yeah.
One time Steamboat had to pull it off of me because it choked me out. During a match.
Was this
toe to toe?
Was this live TV? Was this live TV?
No, this was in Indianapolis, and I had the snake around my neck, and I'm hitting Steamboat. He's got the Komodo dragon.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he's chopping me, but at some point, I just remember car lights coming at me.
So you're really choking him.
And I went down. It doesn't take that long.
No.
They don't strangle you. They hit these carotid arteries in your neck.
Yeah.
They cut the blood flow off to your brain so you pass out. But they'll still hold on to you till you die. Hey, great deal. Then they release. But yeah, man, Steamboat had to rip him off of me because I was out. I was completely out. And I just remember coming to and remembering what Vince had said, if that snake ever gets in the audience, don't come looking for me. You're fired. And as I look up, the snake is still, the tail of it's still in the ring, but over half of it's in the crowd. And the crowd is scattering and people are getting hurt. And so I grabbed the tail of it and jerked real hard and ripped it back into the ring. So probably saved my job.
So who first introduced, who gave you that idea? Was it your own idea for the snake, or who gave you that idea?
Yeah, I'd come up with that idea years before. And I even took the idea to Bill Watts, who owned Mid-South. Yeah. And his reply was, "This ain't no fucking circus. God damn, just work harder." Right. This ain't no circus. Really? You got the junkyard dog. You got Jake the Snake. Come on. Really? You got cowboys and Indians. Yeah. What is this then? But he didn't want to hear it because I was wrestling a guy called Lord Humongous at the time. Yeah. We had a hockey mask on all the time. Okay. And he would headbutt me, of course, and bleed. I'd bleed everywhere.
With the hockey mask on?
Yeah. 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 It wasn't no circus, though. Okay. Right. So my idea was to put a snake in a bag, and that would be my evening, what would square us up. Yeah. The mask thing. Bill's idea was, here's a great idea. You wear a mask too. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea, Bill. Fuck. Give me a break, man. Really? It's the best. Okay, we'll do it. Yeah.
So, Ricky, I'm going to throw some names out there. Ricky the Dream, Ricky Steamboat. What was your relationship? Do you have any good stories with him?
Oh, we just had a great time in the ring, man.
Yeah. He's very talented too, huh?
Oh, it was awesome, man. Him and I together, we never even talked to each other.
Yeah.
We just go out there and do our shit, man. See, back in our days, we didn't go out and rehearse matches.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. You weren't even allowed to be around the bad guys or the good guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kayfabe guys at all cost, even over a good match. Okay, never mind. But Steamboat was a phenomenal performer, man. He had the art of selling down, and for a great baby face, you've got to be able to sell, because that's what gets you the sympathy from the crowd. And that's what gets the crowd involved and cheering you on, so you can come up to your feet and make that comeback, and he knew it. But we just go out there and have a blast, man. Yeah. Steamboat and I, man, we were close, bro.
Yeah. What about Macho Man?
On the other hand,
he's
a psycho, man. He's a psycho.
I remember.
What you see is what you get. All right.
Diamond Dallas Page told me a whole bunch of stories of him, and I was just like laughing my head off, man. He said the exact same thing. What you see is what you get with him. There was no out of character ever for him.
No. And see, the problem with me is that, I wound up slapping Elizabeth, and little did I know that her family is from the back hills of Kentucky. They believe in that wrestling. And you promised us that our little baby girl would never get hurt. You'd protect her. Will you lying son of a bitch? Don't you ever come back to our house again. And threatened him with a gun. Get the hell off our property.
Wow.
Yeah. So he comes back to fucking WWE going, I got to do something. I got to kill that son of a bitch just so I can get even for the family. So we had to cut the program short because they wouldn't even allow them to be together. Oh, yeah. Great. Fuck.
He was that intense, huh?
I was able to manipulate Randy. I outthought him. And that's not real hard to do. He would come to the ring and he'd be on fire and he'd just be throwing everything he could at you. So all I would do is just block, lean on him till he blew up. And then once he ran out of gas, I could do anything I wanted to do with him. because he was like a baby then. He's like, he couldn't even lift his arms, man, because he had gassed out kicking my ass. Well, who looks tough here, Randy? I think I do, because I survived it and went ahead and did what I wanted to. But yeah, it was tough, man. But I enjoyed it. I didn't mind getting hit hard. I kind of like that, and I give what I get. So I don't have a beef with that.
Yeah.
Just don't break my nose or my teeth, man. That's all I ask. Other than that, lay them in. So
when did you first meet DDP?
Oh God, in the 80s, I was coming back from Miami, I believe, and I stopped off in Fort Pierce, and there was a bar there. I got to have a drink, and I went in, and bada bing.
Is that when he owned the bars?
Yeah. He had known it. He was running it.
Okay.
Yeah. Norma Jeans.
Yeah.
It was a good spot, man. And then I'd see him again here and there, and everywhere I turned around, he'd show up again, And then I see him managing, and I thought it was really funny because the manager's bigger than his talent, It's not good. Which now I'm going through that, Thank God I got Lance Archer because I'm not bigger than he is, brother.
Yeah.
But he just kept showing up, man. And then I kind of kept my eye on him, man. And he came to me and he wanted me to train him. And I asked him how old he was, and he told me. I'm like, dude, it's a little late. And he said, well, that's what Ric Flair told me too. I said, oh, Flair told you that? And he said, yeah. I said, then I'll train you because I'll prove Flair wrong.
I love it.
And I did.
Yeah. It's amazing how he holds you on such a pedestal when we're talking. Like he obviously you're very close to him and he appreciates everything you've done for him, and the way he talks about you is pretty amazing.
The thing about Dallas is this, man. He understands he's not the prettiest, the smartest, on and on, but he's smart enough to know it, accept it, and to go get help.
Yeah.
And he knows where to go get the right help.
Yeah.
And he's done that his whole life. I mean, in DDP yoga, if he didn't know it, he'd go find it. He would learn about it. He would explore it.
Yeah.
He would test it. He would hold it. He'd put it in his mouth, chew on it, everything, man, just to feel it all out. And he still does that today.
Yeah.
And nobody has ever worked harder than him.
Yeah.
He is unstoppable. He does not know when to give up because he won't. He'll stick with it till he wins. And thank God he's like that, or I wouldn't have made it either. Because Lord knows, once I moved in with him, I did some things that I should have had my ass kicked out of the house and had my ass kicked too.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't give up on me. He said, no, man, we start again tomorrow, brother. I'm not giving up. And that's what helped me get through it. Because you don't do drugs and alcohol for 40 years and quit overnight. It took nearly 2 years for me to get it right.
And it'll be, and like anything, when it comes to addiction, it's the rest of your life. It's every single day, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm fortunate or foolish. One, I've reached a place in my life now that I don't think you could make me do it.
I love it.
That's
amazing.
The smell of alcohol makes my stomach turn.
Good.
When I walk down through the airport and I start getting close to a bar, I hold my breath because the smell of beer makes my stomach burp, And even somebody sitting next to me on the plane drinking wine, oh my God, I got to turn my head. I can't stand the smell of it, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
As far as the cocaine and stuff, brother, ain't no way in hell.
Good.
Ain't no way in hell. And, I just had all this foot surgery and shit done, and I've done it without painkillers, man.
Yeah, I was about to say that's
You know?
amazing.
And I'm not ever going to do that shit again, man.
No, good.
Because I got away from it once. I don't have it in me to get away from it again.
Yeah.
If I was to go down, I don't think I'd ever get back up.
Yeah.
Or that's what I'm telling myself. So maybe that's what keeps the fear alive.
But you're being honest with yourself too, right? I mean,
it's a healthy fear.
It's a very healthy fear, and it's something that keeps you focused and on the narrow road, which is so important.
Are you kidding me? And another thing that keeps me sober is helping other people.
Yeah, I love it.
I do help a lot of people that are still struggling in the business and out of the business. I'm very fortunate to be working for somebody now that actually cares about the talent. Tony Khan.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons he has me around.
Yeah.
Is to talk to these guys when I see them doing stupid shit, and I know why.
Yeah.
That I can talk to them, and be straight with them. Nobody wants to hear from a pastor that you don't drink. Screw you, pastor. You've never been there.
Yeah. Yeah. You want somebody with experience.
Exactly.
Been through it. That's lived a life. Yeah.
So that's where he does that, brother. Bro, I'm getting pretty tired here, man.
100%, Brett. I just want to say thank you for all this, man. This has been a pretty amazing. When you do your tour, do you come to Toronto at all?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been to Toronto. I'll be back up there. I'm not sure when, but I got something else I want to put out there.
100%.
Starting January 1st, there'll be another podcast on the market called DDP's Snake Pit.
Love it.
So what it is me and Dallas just sitting together and going on.
I love it.
And, I think you'll find it very enlightening. One thing that we're doing is we're talking about the TV show Heels.
Yeah.
We're going to go through each segment and talk about what we think and see.
Yeah.
And how they're doing it. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it yet.
No, I haven't, but I know what it is. But I mean,
you should check it out.
Just your personas and just you two as friends knocking off each other, and obviously you guys have the names that come. You'll have the following just by your obviously your career, so it'll be success no matter what. So I'm excited to see that.
I'm real happy about it, man. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, so
yeah,
we're going to do that. And
are you guys doing it in? Are you guys doing in studio together or?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going down to the Performance Center there in Atlanta and doing it. And, couldn't be happier about it, but I'm still doing AEW. I'm just waiting for Lance to heal.
Yeah,
he hurt his neck, doing something a 275 pounds should never do.
Yeah,
a backflip. You don't need to.
It's so crazy. After all these years, you're still involved in the same sport.
Yeah, man. Well, I got a chance to go back, and I thank AEW for that, man, because, it had been 20 years since I've been in the ring when I went in and cut that promo on Cody. And it was one of the most incredible feelings in my life.
Yeah.
The fan reaction, it's like I'd never left.
Oh,
they just went absolutely bonkers.
Oh, you have to realize it, and I'm sure you do, but I mean, growing up, even myself, I'm 44. I mean, you're my childhood, right? Growing up,
yeah, man.
You were like somebody we looked up to, we watched, and in Canada, it was once a month they had the Saturday night special, and that's when you finally saw the big names fight each other. Like that was, I'd fall asleep on the couch. My dad would wake me up at 11 p.m. at night to watch it with him. Like these are all memories you can't take away, right?
Yeah.
Maple Leaf Gardens, like it is just childhood memories, man. It just
that's why I go out and do Comic-Cons and things.
Yeah.
Because I get to meet the fans. I get to hear those stories. Lots of times there's tears involved because maybe the person that they watched it with is gone now.
Yeah. Well,
For
I just lost my dad. I lost my dad recently.
There you go.
Yeah. See, so
for me to hear all these wonderful stories and see how affected they are, it just tells me that, Jake, all those years that you were out there killing yourself, it did matter.
Oh, 100%.
It mattered a lot.
100%.
Well, see, when you get down and out, man, it's pretty easy to say shit don't matter.
Yeah.
But I'm not down and out anymore, man. I'm up at the top, rolling in it, having a great time.
I'm proud of you, brother.
Going to try to stay healthy. We got some things we're dealing with. We're going to try to keep it in the middle of the road anyway.
Yeah.
But those podcasts will be coming out after the first year. Check us out. Let us know what you think. I wish you the best. I'd like to come back on and do another one sometime.
I love that, brother. Love that.
Well, let's wait a month or so. We'll do it.
Thank you, brother.
Take care.
That's a wrap for today. I want to thank our guest, Jake the Snake Roberts, for taking time out of his busy schedule to be a guest on the Jeff Knows Inc. podcast. What a great conversation. If you guys enjoy this as much as I have, like all weeks, tell your friends, tell your family, spread the word. We're trying to build something special here. Leave a review. 5 stars will be absolutely amazing. Myself, my team love spending time reading the reviews. Until next week, guys, keep moving forward. This podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp. With the current climate in this world, it's now more important than ever to take stock in your mental health and for once, take time to work on yourself. BetterHelp offers a personalized online counseling and therapy service that will connect you to a safe and private online environment. BetterHelp is here to assess you with your needs and match you with your own licensed therapist. It's a lot more affordable than your traditional counseling, and financial aid is always available. Right now, Jeff Knows Inc. listeners get an extra 10% off your first month just by visiting betterhelp.com/Jeff Knows. That's right. Visit BETTERHELP.com/Jeff Knows to get 10% off your first month.